Hello everybody. Today we are going to talk about the memory test and in particular about the March test algorithm. Okay. There are broadly three classes of memory test algorithm: the ad hoc test, the March test, and the fault primitive based test. Ad hoc tests are the tests which are based on the temporary approaches. So these were the some initial algorithms such as Scan01, GalPAT, Walking 01 algorithms. They are more based on temporary approach, which are uh, dependent upon the learning and the experience of the designer. Okay, so they were not very popular. Next, we come to is March test. March test is the class of algorithms which has been most commonly used and they have been more successful. They've seen a number of evolutions starting right from MATS, that is March algorithm test sequence, to modified C March algorithm, and they are even basis of the BIST, which is used for the memory testing in the sophisticated VLSI devices. And last is the fault primitive based test. In this, we are defining the primitives. An array of primitives is defined for a particular memory, and those primitives are being modified to detect the presence of any particular fault. Okay. So the simplest of all is batch testing. Let's see what batch test is. Before we go to understand what is March test or what is a March test algorithm, we need to understand these symbols. R stands for read operation, W for write operation, upward arrow for an upward transition of changing the cell content from 0 to 1. So writing 1 to a cell which was having a previous value of 0 is upward transition. Downward transition indicates changing the value of cell from 1 to 0, and a double-ended arrow indicates inverting the cell value. If it is 0, we change it to 1. If it is 1, we change it to 0. Next, we come to thick arrows. The upward arrow, thick arrow, that indicates increasing order of addresses, of memory addresses. Uh, Downward arrow, it indicates, thick arrow, it indicates decreasing order of address, and this thick double-ended arrow, it indicates order of addressing of the cells in the memory is irrelevant. So with this knowledge, we define the operations and the data for the March test. For example, we are going to write the data X, that is represented by WX. W for write, X for what data has to be written. That can be, X can be the 0 or it can be 1. So X can be 0 or 1. Rx means reading the data. X is the value which is expected. So if I had written 0 in a cell, I expect the value to be 0. So that would have been R0. So with these operations, I could define a sequence as what? Sequence means sequence of operations. So W1, R1, W0, R0, it means it is a sequence of operations which is going to happen one and after another. So if there is a particular cell, it implies first I'm writing 1, then I'm reading 1 from each cell, then I'm writing 0, and then I'm reading that 0 value. Okay. So this is a typical memory module, I can say, or chip, which is comprising of number of cells, which has been organized as a 2D array. Okay, rows indicated in the y direction and columns indicated in the x direction. So if upward thick arrow is there, it means I'm referring to the memory location addresses increasing from 0 to n. Downward means I'm referring to addresses n to 0, and double-ended, as I already told, it is irrelevant. Okay. So example of a typical sequence with order is increasing order of addresses. I am going to perform these 4 operations in sequence on every cell which is contained in this memory, and this constitutes a March cell. So what is basically a March test? It is nothing but a sequence of March element where March element is defined by order and the operation and what value has to be expected or written by that operation. For example, this upward arrow, thick arrow, comma R1 means that in the increasing order of memory addresses, okay, of the cells in the given memory module or a chip which we are considering for detection, we have to perform the read operation when the expected value is 1. So what I am expecting is that for all the cells in my given memory, okay, chip, I am going to read the value of each cell and that value should be 1. So whenever I am reading, that is expected value, okay. So this has been a quite simple way of testing the memory match algorithm. It has a linear complexity with increasing number of cells of the memory, but there are certain limitations as we are moving towards higher level of complexities and sizes of the memory. More fault models they have to be included, which is being done also as we are moving through different evolutions of Barch algorithm. So let's start with how it is going to detect a fault. So whenever I specify a sequence of operations, if that sequence is not completed, it means a fault is detected. Let's make it more clear. Now this is the typical algorithm which is called MATS plus. MATS stand for March algorithm test sequence. So MATS was the first algorithm which was based on March elements. Okay. And MATS plus was the second enhancement which came to that algorithm. And it is able to detect most all of the stuck faults, transition faults partially, and coupling faults partially. So what do we understand? Now MATS plus algorithm is defined by sequence of 3 March elements, M0, M1 and M2. M0 is defining an operation that irrespective of the addressing order, I write 0. So what is the first operation I am performing? The first operation is given by the first element, March element of the algorithm, which says I want to write 0 to all the cells in my memory. Okay. Next is M1. M1 says that in increasing order of addressing, if I have my memory addressed from 0 to 2000H, so starting from 0, each cell should read the value. So the value to be read should be 0. So I'm expecting that value. I'm not, because reading is I'm not changing the data, I'm just reading what is already being written, what is already existing. So I'm expecting 0 because in the previous operation I had written 0. So I expect each cell to contain a 0. And after reading is done, I carry out the write operation where 1 is written to each cell again in the increasing order of the addresses. Okay. This is followed by third March element, which says that in the decreasing order of the memory addresses, I am going to read the value 1 from each cell. That is again the expected value. And after all the cells have been read, I am going to write 0 to that, to all the cells. So I'll consider one practical example. Let it be a memory module with 9 cells. Okay. Initially, after my March M0 is carried out, it is containing on zeros. Okay. So I've written 0 to each cell. Now in March M1 element, I expect first to read all the zeros and then change the values of each cell to 1, which I have done. So if memory is good, it is doing as expected. All zeros, all ones. And in the third March element, I will read all these values which were 1 in the second step, and then I will again make them 0. So if memory is good, I am going to get the desired results. But if memory is bad, suppose there is some fault. Let's say I have carried out M0 and written 0 to all the cells. Perfectly fine, no problem. There is no differentiation between the good and bad memory. Then I carry out M1, I read all the 0 values, fine. And then I write 1. So I'm writing 1 to all the cells in the increasing order, but I'm not able to write here at this position. Okay, at the 4th cell value. Okay, so what is this? So it is indicating that memory is not as expected. So there is presence of some fault in this particular cell. So it is able to detect the presence of a fault. Okay. Then I carry out my third operation specified by M2 March element. So again, the good memory will be reading all these ones and writing them back to 0. But bad memory will not be able to read all ones as expected. My expected value to be read was 1, but it is not actually 1 here. And after that I perform the write and I again put it back to 0. So it is same as the good memory. So if I compare the 3 March element results, okay, with a good memory, I can find that there is some problem with this particular cell in the memory which has been detected. So this is how detection takes place. Okay. Now, can we guess what fault is detected? Because the value didn't change from 0 to 1. So obviously this was a stuck at 0 fault in a particular cell. So this is how the March algorithm or March test algorithm is carried out and used for detection. Now we understand this detection process through the state transition diagrams which are used for interpreting these March algorithms. So first we come to is stuck at faults. In the stuck at faults, we have to see what? We have to read the value 0 and read the value 1 in each cell. After writing the value 0, I have to read a 0. After writing the value 1, I have to read the value 1. If the values are changing as expected, it means there is no stuck at fault. If it is not changing, it means there is a stuck at fault. So this is the representation of the fault. This signifies for all the cells, value is 0. For all the cells, value is 1. So I'm going to evaluate each cell. So what does the state transition diagram depict? Now say state transition diagram is nothing but where each state is represented according to the cell value. S0 is the state in which the cell is having value 0 and S1 is the state in which the cell contains the value 1. Okay. So if I write 0 to a cell which is already having a 0, obviously my state will not change. But if I write 1, yes, my state is to be changed. So once I write 1, it should change to S1. Similarly, if I'm in S1 state, if I write 0, it should change to state from S1 to S0. So this is if my memory is not having any problem. My cell is correct. But if my cell is having stuck at 0 fault, then what? Then my state transition from S0 to S1 will not happen even though I have tried to write 1 to my cell. So this is indicating my stuck at 0 fault. Similarly, my stuck at 1 fault, it will not change its value from S1 to S0 whenever I have tried to write the value 0 to my cell. So it will remain in the same state. Okay. Next we move to is transition fault. Transition fault, as it indicates, it is whenever the cell is not able to transit from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. Okay. So again, it indicates that there is an upward transition. Upward transition means 0 to 1. Downward transition means 1 to 0. So it is represented as this. This means upward transition fault where a cell is not changing from 0 to 1. Downward transition where a cell is not changing from 1 to 0. So in this state diagram, we are trying to see the 0 to 1 transition fault, that is upward transition. So we'll see it here. So here if S0 is there for a cell, it means it is already having the value 0. If I write 0, it will remain here, which is well and good as expected. But if I write 1, it should have transited here, which is it is not doing. So it means my 0 to 1 transition has failed and it is not transiting the next state. So this is my upward transition fault detected. Then we come to coupling faults. Though we have already spoken about types of coupling faults, just a brief differentiation of what is a coupling fault types. So it can be coupling fault between the two cells, where one cell is aggressor, other is victim. The cell which is changing its value on its own, that is aggressor, and aggressor is forcing its changed value to change the value of another cell in the neighborhood unwantedly. So that particular cell whose value is unwantedly changed, it is referred to as victim. So in our discussion in the next slides, I is going to denote victim, J aggressor. So it is, if we are taking only two cells at a time, it is a special case of K coupling fault. K means if one aggressor is there and K victims are there, that is one cell changing its value is forcing at least K cells in the neighborhood to change their value. Okay. Then we have inversion coupling. Inversion coupling means that a cell is changing, aggressor is changing its value and it is complementing the value of the victim cell. Idempotent coupling fault. It is a transition fault. I think we've already discussed it earlier. Idempotent fault. Okay. What is new is bridging and state coupling faults. Bridging faults are what? Bridging faults are between the lines which are leading, that is wires which are there. So we are not talking about only cells, but the connecting wires or the lines which are coming to particular cell. So it is modeled on and logic between the wires coming or between the or logic. This also has been discussed in the fault model earlier. Okay, state coupling fault. State coupling fault means that I'm not worried about the transition, but my cell in a particular, that aggressor in a particular state is forcing another state on my victim. So it is not whether my aggressor is changing from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. Transition is not affecting, as was the case with the coupling fault, but the occurrence of a particular state means whenever my jth or the aggressor cell is becoming 1, it is going to force my neighborhood cell to 0. So that is simple. So that is state coupling, affected by state, not by transition. Dynamic coupling fault, it is coupling between two cells of different words, and this is sensitized both by read and write on the jth or the aggressor cell. So it is not like the normal coupling fault, which is sensitized or which is being, you can say, activated only by transition. Even without transition, only reading, okay, when I'm not writing anything, I'm not changing the value of the aggressor, then also it is forcing my victim cell value to change. So that is dynamic coupling. So this is, we need to understand the state transition of any two good cells. Okay. So I, as I told you, it is going to be victim. J indicates your aggressor. And this, the notion S00 means SIJ. So the first numeral is indicating the cell value contained in I, and this is second is telling me the value of jth or the aggressor cell. So basically it is based on the Moore state machine model. Now here each state is not the cell value, but it is representing a state which is representing cell values of both the aggressor and the victim. Okay, for example, S00 tells that my victim is 0, cell is having value 0, and my aggressor is having the value 0. S01 tells that my aggressor is having the value 1 and my victim is having the value 0. And these arrows from one state to another, they are showing the transition. W1 means we are writing 1 and J means we are writing this value 1 to the aggressor cell. So I am changing aggressor from 0 to 1. So I think you can go through the state diagram. It is pretty simple. Now based on this, we are going to see how is inversion coupling fault detected. The representation of inversion coupling fault is this. Okay, this means upward transition in my, that is transition in my aggressor. It is going to complement by victim. So this is representing the transition of the aggressor, and after this semicolon, what I'm getting is transition of the victim. Okay, so let's see how it has changed in our case. So I am, let's say, assume in the initial state as 0, 0, where I is also 0. Both the cells, they are in 0. Now here, my J is, I'm trying to write 1 to my aggressor. So whenever I am trying to write 1 to my aggressor, that is J. So instead of changing my value from S00 to S01, if we see it in the previous this, it should have changed to 01. That is when I'm writing 1 to J. It should be S01. But it is, it is going to change to what? S11. So what, see the transition. So this is showing, I'm trying to write 1 to my J and this transition is coming here instead of going here. So this is the actual state which I expected, but I am landing into an erroneous state which is coming here, that is S1. Similarly, if suppose I am in the state S10, again here I write 1 to my J. Jth. Here it is again. It should have changed the state to this. It should have changed the state to this S11 only because I is already 1. I should not have changed, but actually I am landing it to a wrong transition indicated by this green. So this is what inversion, it is going to invert the victim cell value. Okay. Next we come to this example of a state coupling fault. State coupling fault, as I told you, it is concerned with the state. Okay. So if my aggressor is in 0th state, it is forcing the victim in 0th. So again, this is the aggressor state, semicolon, the victim state. My aggressor is in 0, it is forcing the victim to be 1. My aggressor is in 1 value, it is forcing the state to be 0 for the victim. My aggressor is 1, it is forcing my victim to be 1. Okay, so again we see this change in the transition. Again we are starting with the basic state, that is S00. So I'm trying to write 1 to my Gth cell, that is the aggressor. It should have changed to this, but instead of going to S01, it is going to S11. So this is a wrong state. Now this is quite different from the one we saw in the inversion, because if I'm talking about this state S10, here again if I try to write 1 to the jth value, it is going for a correct transition, there is no problem, it is not inverting I. So inversion mein kya ho raha tha, it was changing I. Here it is only concerned with the fault when my J is 0 or J is 1. Okay, so it is 1 to 1 fault. It is not, it is forcing that to 1. Aggressor, if it is going to 1, it is forcing my victim to be 1. So here it is already 1, so there is no wrong transition we are going to make. I hope it is clear. So based on this, I'm just going to wind up. We are left with address decoding faults. and I think neighbor sensitive pattern faults. We'll talk about them in the next video. Okay, so here I'm just summarizing what are the evolutions of the March algorithms. So today what we saw was the example of MATS plus. First algorithm based on March was MATS. Again I'm repeating, MATS stood for March algorithm test sequence. So there were number of enhancements, and these enhancements they were required to cover more number of faults. Okay, March X, C minus A, Y, B, and so on. And this was the types of faults which could be covered by these, okay, by these different algorithms. This is the time complexity where n is the number of cells. So as the number of cells they were increasing, this is the all of them they are having a linear complexity. So presently we are using March C as the basis of so many techniques like BIST, okay, in the industry, and March C modified is also being proposed and being used. Okay, so summarize to summarize this, just so to summarize this, we are just going to, we know that memory testing, it is very essential, but it is little more complicated than what logical testing is. So it requires multiple fault models which are to be used. So these testing, that can be a combination of number of tests which are coming. For example, March tests, they are sufficient for stuck-at fault, transition faults in SRAM and DRAM, whereas the neighborhood pattern sensitive faults in the DRAM, they could be detected by not based on March, but different techniques. AC and DC parametric tests, they have to be performed for all types of memories. Currently, what practices are used are BIST, built-in self-testing. March algorithms are used at basis of that. BISR is for repairing, that is built-in self-repairing mechanism, that is for removing the redundancies, if any, that increases the yield. Okay, and BISC is for built-in self-correction, that is my mechanism is able to detect and correct only the soft errors, if any, in case of my memory cells. So this was the brief summary of today's lecture. We'll meet in the next lecture. Thank you so much. Thanks to all of you.